We got our main man, Chase Crim. He is from Texas Roadshow Cards. But what many of you may not know about him is he is a UFC expert. And I want to talk today about some UFC card flipping strategies, Chase, because we don't typically cover this at nooffseason.com and on the Sports Card Strategy Show. But I'll tell you what, we need to, and we want to more in 2024 with you specifically. So can you tell our listeners here at the Sports Card Strategy Show, do you have like principles for making money flipping UFC cards?
So basically the biggest thing you want to avoid is, so the UFC market is heavily collector based. Not really, like, I would probably say it's 90% to 10% collectors over the flippers. So the biggest thing to avoid is like buying someone off of a huge win. Like, say they had a pay-per-view fight the night before or the week before, like trying to just hold off of that. UFC is nice because you have your built-in hype cycles already, because they only fight, like, even if they're super active, they're only fighting 3 to 4 times a year. So you get a nice lull period on basically everyone built into the sport. So trying to just buy when they don't have a fight announced, or buying a couple months out of their fight, avoid buying like a week after, 2 weeks after the winning.
Great. So I want to unpack this further. So we talk about the right card for the right player at the right time. Is there a right or wrong card for fighters? And do all fighters have cards?
Yeah, so this is a good question. I'm going to try to unpack it. So as far as cards go, from 2021 till now, Panini had the license. And so 2021, if they have a 2021 card and they don't have a rookie card in the top sets before that, anything 2021 is going to be their best card. So like when Connor was still active, like he had a couple 2021 black 1-of-1s that like broke the market. So because it's like that first year Panini, and it's nice because they don't make as many sets as football, basketball. They make like Prism, Select, Immaculate, Optic, and then Donruss. Those are like the 5 ones. I might be missing one, but so it's much dumbed down, and so you're not having to worry about like, oh, should I buy this Phoenix auto, which they do have Chronicles, but it's like, no, you shouldn't. Because for one, like a sticker auto out of Chronicles, or this is like, even if it's of someone good, it's probably like $15 at the max, unless it's numbered. So, but that being said, Topps takes over the license this year. So basically anyone that doesn't have a rookie in that 21 to 23 Panini range, their best card is probably going to be like their rookie Topps Chrome. And then if they do fall in that range, it's probably their rookie Prism, or if they have an on-card auto and Immaculate, those are probably the best cards to have.
So it's pretty similar to other sports, but it might even be easier to follow from what you're saying, because if someone's not on a card, not on a fight card, let's clarify that. If they're not on a fight card, it might be time to buy their card, like a Prism Silver, for example, one of the select subsets that's a little bit more exclusive or desirable in a silver Prism, or even like an Immaculate.
Which I think you can go even deeper than that, because the market's not nearly as big as NFL, NBA. So even like a top rookie Prism raw is probably like max $5 to $10. And like even graded, like you're not going to see that huge grade multiplier as you will in the other sports, because the market is significantly smaller, which is why I like it. Because think of it as like F1, but F1 had a lot of hype built into it for that first release. Was that 20 or 21? I don't remember.
2020.
Okay. So like F1 had a lot of hype built into that set, and slowly it goes down a little bit, and then so think of it as like F1 minus that initial hype, and that's why we're looking at like prices. Like there's like I'm telling y'all, some of these prices just don't make sense when you see like a contenders auto of like a rookie who just won. Tom Aspinall, for example, heavyweight champion, just won it. His like rookie contenders autos, granted they're on sticker, are like $15. So it's like you're dealing with much less expensive cards.
Yeah, so you can go like low serial numbered
Mm-hmm.
autos, on-card autos of the nicest sets that we're familiar with from the other sports because of the Panini licensing. And then even when Topps takes over the licensing, we're familiar with like obviously Topps Chrome and the RC Shield and everything like that. Let's segue into prospecting, because what I find difficult in sports like soccer and even F1 a little bit is with baseball, basketball, and football, there's draft. And so you can easily connect the dots between mock drafts to the actual draft results, to draft capital, to the hype around the players with the draft capital. How does UFC work in terms of who gets rookie cards every year, and what's the best? Is there a resource that you would recommend people go to research who might be added to a fight card for UFC? Is that widely published information for us UFC noobs?
Right. So as far as who's going to be on the rookie set, there is really, I don't really know the like like how they did it in the past of like who's the rookie card now, or like, okay, we're going to add him as rookie. Usually what happens is someone will come up on the Ultimate Fighter or Dana White's Contender Series. So the most hyped up prospect probably since Sean O'Malley and Conor McGregor is Bo Nickel right now, and he came up through the Contender Series. He was like I think he won the national championship in wrestling twice at Penn State, and he comes on the Contender Series, wins a fight, gets invited back again on the Contender Series, just destroys the dude. So he had a rookie card this past year in 23, and he's like the most expensive card in the set. And he looks like he's like going to be the real deal. So that's pretty exciting. And then as far as like fighters having like a set, or like fighters kind of knowing who gets added to a card. So if you're looking at like champions, so Sean Strickland fights, he's the middleweight champion. He's the one that just beat Israel Adesanya in like a huge upset. So he fights this weekend on a pay-per-view fight. And if he wins that, you can kind of expect him to defend again in like 4 to 6 months. So you'll kind of know if you like Sean Strickland. A lot of people love Sean Strickland because he's kind of have like, he kind of has that Conor McGregor personality where he just speaks whatever's on his mind. Although he's a lot less filtered and has a lot of like trauma in his life. So he talks about some crazy stuff. But a lot of people like him because he's real, and he upset Adesanya. He was like 5-1 to win. And so he's grown a big audience. So if you want to buy into him, I'm not saying don't buy him before the fight because it's in a couple of days. Or if you're watching this, it might have already passed. But if he wins, you're going to expect him to fight in 4 to 6 months. So you probably like wait a month or two, buy into his stuff, hold it for 2 months, and then sell it.
I like that. So if a champ wins, we can expect that he will defend his title. Just wait a couple of months till the prices go down. Make sure that you're confirming that the prices have in fact gone down. And then you can expect when that title fight is announced. Is there another bump when the fight is announced and then a bigger bump leading up to like the week of the fight or the weigh-in? Like, is there a particular time? I mean, you know how we are at the Sports Card Strategy Show. You see where I'm going with this.
Right. So the biggest bump will be like the week of, because that's when they have all the interviews. That's when they have them on stage, the weigh-ins, all that stuff. I mean, obviously, if they win in a really impressive fashion, that can also bump up the prices, but that's not guaranteed, like the interviews and all that stuff, all the little pre-interviews and all that stuff. Now, granted, so Conor McGregor has been out because he broke his leg. I don't even know how long it's been, a year and a half. It could be 2.5 years. If it feels like 2.5 years, I think it's just been like a year and a half. But he just got announced for a fight in July during International Fight Week. And I don't know for sure because I'm not constantly looking at like liquid Conor McGregor card sales. But I'd imagine he would have seen a boost because it's like, oh, Conor's like finally back. And especially Conor because he's the face of everything.
Yeah, that makes sense. So check the Conor McGregor data right now to see if he's already gotten that boost since the announcement. But it sounds like what you're saying is even if he has, there's going to be so much hype around that International Fight Week fight in July that his prices should surely rise. So this is amazing insights here, Chase. Really appreciate it, man. Anything else you want to add about UFC cards?
Yes. So if you like, I mean, if you want to find like a different outlet for like your revenue, so say you want to diversify your portfolio and you're tired of just dealing with football quarterbacks, like hyped up rookies in basketball, you can like build quite the portfolio with UFC cards, and you can have like better cards compared to just like a Prism Silver. So that's why I like it. I think there's not really a lot of hype built into UFC cards at the moment, so I think you're getting in at a good time. And I think it's a sport, in my opinion, I think it could be just as popular in America if it isn't already as F1. But like, look at F1 prices compared to UFC cards, and they're like not even close. So if you're into it, I would suggest starting with Conor, right? Because I think we're in a good time for him because that announcement was a couple weeks ago that he's coming back. And if UFC cards do see the bump, so I'm just projecting a bump in UFC cards, right? I'm not saying it definitely will or won't happen.
He's flag planning, everybody.
Yeah, I am
somewhat
flag planning, yes. But when that bump starts, when that UFC hype starts, it's going to start with Conor McGregor. And then everything else is just – so it's going to start with Conor McGregor cards and everything else is going to follow it. So I would suggest, hey, just be on top. Have some McGregor cards ready to go for July, and I think you're going to do well on them.
You heard it here first. Chase Crim, Texas Roadshow. He's the OG of the Sports Card Strategy Show. For those of you who don't know, he was on with Lefty and I a long, long time ago, and happy to have him as part of the family. Our new UFC card strategist, analyst. You've been promoted, Chase. Great work, man. I love it.
That being said, I do think Conor McGregor is going to lose, so let's get ready to sell.
So you got to sell during the weigh-in, like end the auctions at the weigh-in. Is that basically the strategy?
Probably, yeah.
Love it, man. Hey, thanks so much for joining us. We're gonna have you back. You're the man.
All right, always a pleasure to be here.